Hi, welcome back to Making It with Minglet. Today we're going to start out, we're going to be working in our journal. It's going to be day 28. But first I wanted to do a quick pull. I've had this sitting on my plate now for several days. And I'm using recycled paper, but I used the leaves off my radishes that I got. And it inspired me to do some prints, so let's see what this ended up doing. This was my last pickup, and I used a butterfly that was sent to me by Karen McCoy. And there's some leaves in the background, so it turned out to be interesting. Not a bad piece. If I wanted to come in, I could, let's see. I don't think I want to use the light. Let's get the darker one. If I go around and I kind of outline the butterflies gently, I think it's going to turn out pretty good. And it'll be used in a journal, or who knows where we'll find it useful. So I'm going to put that away. And I've already, instead of using the Hall's quotes today, I still have some of those to go. But this page kind of, I had the coloring page on one side and the blank page on the other, and I added one of these prints right here that came from Karen McCoy. And I used some tissue paper that I had out the other day, and I thought we might try toying with it a little bit. It has had a chance to dry. It's got matte medium on it. And I'm going to get out these Stampin' Up! Watercolor Wonders. And basically, they're glorified crayons. Once you use them and get them wet, you know, your colors kind of bleed. So I'm hoping to kind of carry over some colors that will be useful. Like where this is blue, I'm just going to kind of try to blend it. Now, how it'll act on this paper, I don't have a clue. That's why we try things, you know, to see what we can make happen. And if it's the unknown, it's the unknown. We just can still play around, especially if you've got the supplies to do it. It doesn't cost you anything to figure something out. And today is my brother's actual birthday. He's my oldest brother, and I love him dearly. And I hope he's out enjoying the sunshine. He might be out planting something. He loves to plant things and do gardening. He loves the grandbabies, and you know, he's a good pop. And he's always been a good brother. He was, I'm thinking 7 years older than me. And by the time I was in elementary school, it wasn't long before he was going off to war. So we haven't lived in the same house for a long time, but I still love him and I still appreciate him, and I'm grateful that I have him. And his wife Debbie, she's been part of my family, seems like forever. And I remember their early days together. He would be watching me and he'd sneak off to see her. He had a little blue Volkswagen that he paid for by, he bought for himself, and he paid for it by running a school bus. And he used to pay me to sweep the school bus out for him because they were required to keep them clean, and I would pick up the trash and sweep the school bus so he could get his homework done. But when he would slip out, if Mom was at church and she left me at home, which meant that it was not something I needed to be at because I couldn't sit still, but he would take me to the convenience store and he'd get me a Coke and some peanuts. And I would sit in the back seat while they smooched in the front. But you didn't hear me say that. I would never disclose personal details like that. But It's fun to think back on that time. We literally put our peanuts in the bottle and waited for them to float to the top, and then you drank it. So it was something I just remembered. It was something fun that he did, and it's something we can laugh about now that we're getting old and gray. Oh, and he's the brother that fed me a dog biscuit once. Now, he got in trouble for that, but you never know. You never know. He and I both have the spring birthdays, and then my sister's a summer birthday, and my baby brother's a fall birthday. So we were kind of spread out with the birthdays. We had January was Mom's, March it was Gary's, April was mine, and then my sister in July, and my dad and my baby brother came in November. I'm going to put some orange on this page. Even though there's no orange on it, I think we can kind of blend the colors a little bit. And I'm just going to color it until I've got all the white covered up. And then we'll see how this works, if it works. And then we'll know next time whether to try it or not to try it. And we'll blend that color up there to top a little bit. So it'll be not a stock color, it'll be a unique color. And like I said, I don't know how these coloring pages are going to take the water. I'm feeling like if I get it too wet that they may really crinkle up or, get kind of yucky. It's hard to know. But we're going to try playing, and we're going to play and see whether we win or we lose on what we do. We'll salvage it somehow, but right now I'd say I don't really know what it's going to do, but like I said, we'll make it right somehow if it means we get out some other media to make it work. Go yellow up here. If I put that together, that's going to end up green. If I'm thinking clearly, yellow and blue make green. And I think that's going to be how I want that to roll. I do have green. And I'm not being precious about this. I was watching an artist I like, Sean Pettit, and she said when you start getting precious about your work, you sometimes get stuck. And I thought about that after I watched the video. Basically, she was doing like a jump start, things to, just get you doing stuff, not just sitting and looking at what you got and not knowing where to start. But that kind of makes sense, that if you start thinking of it as being too precious to mess up, like your collage pieces, you end up not using them or maybe not enjoying them as much as you should. So I appreciated that thought, and I thought, sometimes I think I get like that. I think I like something too much to want to cut it up or, use it in a different way. So there you have that. And on that, I want to bring some yellow in there, even though there's none in it naturally. I kind of want to see a little bit of yellow in there, so I'm going to just bring some in. And I have blended it with these colors, and I've been surprised at, for them to be crayons, I've been surprised at what you can really get out of them in the long run. I think I need to bring some teal over on this page, so we're going to put that right here. We're going to go here with that teal. And it's a nice kind of paler blue. And I'm not trying to cover every little detail because I know that once I use my paintbrush, I can kind of pull color out. Leaves, leave, 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 leave. That may look like poop when it's done. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully not poop. Poop is not my favorite color. I'm just being silly. Don't mind me. Today we went to the cemetery because when we went the other day, we forgot to take anchors to keep the cones with the pricks at the end. We used those for my mom and dad's marker, and then we used it for his grandmother's because they don't have tombstones. And so we usually have them with us, but we were hurrying, trying to just cram a whole lot in one day, and we both forgot them. I got out there, as soon as I got out of the truck, I thought, we forgot them. And he said, well, I didn't bring any pliers either, so we had forgotten two different things. So today we remembered everything, and we went back out there and got that taken care of. We always try to make things look nice. They have like a sunrise service out there on Easter, and we always want things to look very nice and presentable and respectful. So we do make an effort to do that. And we do it pretty regular. We'll take it, like tomorrow is the anniversary of my mother-in-law's death, and we usually take it out before that happens, for our Easter and spring flowers. And then there's a little bit of time that we won't put anything out because the sun is so brutal it just destroys it. So we'll put them out again in the fall when the sun starts getting a little easier. We'll have fall flowers, and then we'll put winter flowers out. My mom was always so good after my daddy passed. He died so much younger than her, and she was so good about going out and making sure there were flowers. And so I remember how important that was to her, and I want to kind of maintain that for her. For both of them, out of honor and respect. Now, I am going to get just a simple, let's see which brush I want to use. I'm going to get two different brushes. These are just some inexpensive Amazon. I've got just a short brown, round brush, soft. And we'll get that wet, and then I have this flat angled brush. So we're just going to start by adding just a light amount of water and working our way down. This was textured paper, so that texture probably will show up. I don't know if I want to have it be heavily defined or simply defined. So we'll just see how it works. And I'm blotting this off before I hit it so that I'm not just getting it saturated. And that's one of the things that's easy to do when you don't add too much water. Ooh, that orange is popping. And I like that it's, I guess I should make sure I'm centered here. I do have a piece of wax like paper underneath. I think it may have come off of contact paper actually. But that's my barrier to protect. kind of like that woven part where there's texture. Can you see that? Right, I'm going to turn it, and we're going to work the other way. And I'm trying not to get this too terribly wet. I've got it a little wetter than I'd like it to be right at the moment. So I'm just going to bring it down here where I forgot to put any color at all. And this is, in essence, kind of blending this tissue paper that I put down. It's kind of blending it to give it a finished look. So if you can't paint flowers, and you've not tried to paint flowers, this is an alternative thing that you can do to have a look that kind of finishes it out. These are some of the tricks that you can pull out of your toolbox. Now, if I did not have these little water crayons, watercolor sticks, or whatever they're called, I would probably use just some watercolor and not wet it. And my watercolor is just some inexpensive palettes that I have. Some of them will belong to my kids. I think I got one for my birthday, so they were from Amazon and not very expensive, but they seem to be pretty effective. I mean, there's a lot of variations out there. If you were someone who did extreme watercoloring, I mean producing flowers on your own like Karen McCoy does with her slap and paint on paper, then you would want to maybe invest in some varieties. And she has quite a few videos where she goes over those different types of paints that she's got and what she likes about them. She'll tell you what she don't like about them. So you can use that as a reference. I definitely am not your girl for, you know, advice on watercolors. And we need to hit this spot in here. We're going to see what we can do with that so it's not white. And that looks like a glue spot, so it's going to not be cooperative. I like that. Let's see, we could use some orange right here. Got red. Not bad for somebody who's not a watercolorist. And that's a little bit wet, so we're going to back off of that just a little bit. And if I get this too wet and don't let it dry, you know, be semi-dry, it may cause it to weaken where it's stitched in. It may weaken those pages. That's one reason to, you know, kind of err on the side of caution with how wet you get it. You do get more movement. You get more movement with more water, but you also increase the chances of having your paper start getting bubbly or buckling. Now, where I went over the tissue paper, it's not going to seep through because it's got that barrier of matte medium, which is what's causing this water drop to stand on it. let's turn it to where we're right side up again, and that's kind of wet right there, so we want to work it up just a little bit. I'm pleased with it so far. It's doing kind of what I wanted it to do. Just simple, very simple, but definitely a dramatic change from just a solid white. And we're going to go over this because we want that yellow to kind of bloom out for us. Okay, so we have achieved our goal. It's going to be just a little bit wet to be trying to put anything on it just yet. But our quote for the day: bloom beautifully, dangerously, loudly. Bloom softly, however, just bloom. And that's Rupi Kaur. And I may have mispronounced that. If I did, I'm sorry. But that's kind of how that rolls. And I've got my number 28. I do want to trim it down a little bit because it's a little bit too big right at the moment. Alright. Alright, glue, come on out of there. Uh-oh. It's saying, no, I'm not coming out. It said, you've left me up in this room for days. What do you mean, come out? I don't wanna. We'll just get a tool and make it happen. There we go. Maybe that'll work. Okay, now we're coming out. It's all nice and clean now. Shouldn't have left it dirty like that to start with. It was not the best option. Alright, so we're going to center this here, and there we have it. We've got day 28 complete. And you notice sometimes I'm doing a single spread and sometimes a double spread. It just depends on what I see when I look at the page and what inspiration I have, you know, that I'm looking at. So until next time, be well, my friends. And if you have not been watching, go back and see, starting from number 1. 1 of 25 or 1 of 100. It's 1 of 100. Go back and watch those for me. Bye-bye. Be well.